The healthier I got, the lonelier I felt, until I learned this one truth. I was eating right, walking every day, sleeping well. Doctors said I was doing great, but deep down I felt more alone than ever. It's strange, isn't it? You do everything they tell you. You avoid salt. You cut back on sugar. You stretch. You stay active. And people say, "Wow, you look amazing for your age." But no one asks how your evenings feel or how quiet your mornings are. I'm 75 now, widowed, two grown daughters, both busy raising their own kids, and while my body still holds up better than most my age, there are days when I go the whole afternoon without hearing another human voice. That's the part no one prepares you for. When you're younger, being healthy feels like a victory. But after 70, sometimes it feels like a disguise. You look strong on the outside, so people assume you don't need anyone. They stop checking in. They don't worry about you. And slowly, you become invisible. That's what happened to me. And if I hadn't learned this one thing, one unexpected truth about real health, I might still be sitting alone, pretending everything was okay. Before we go further, if any part of this has struck a chord with you, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It helps this channel grow and keeps stories like this alive. Thank you for being here. And now, a quick question just for you. Have you ever felt lonelier the healthier you got? A yes. I've felt that silence too. B. No. Health has helped me feel more connected. Comment below with A or B. I read every reply. Now, let's talk about what most people never see coming and what changed everything for me. Looking back, I think the biggest trap I fell into was believing that as long as I was physically healthy, everything else would take care of itself. I told myself I was doing fine. I didn't want to bother anyone. And honestly, I thought independence was the whole goal of aging well. Get up by yourself. Cook your meals. Pay your bills. Stay sharp. Don't be a burden. But somewhere along the way, that mindset turned into isolation. Each day had a routine, almost a rhythm. Morning walk, oatmeal for breakfast, check the news, tend to my garden, maybe a trip to the store. I checked all the boxes: movement, nutrition, mental activity. But the part I didn't realize I was missing was people. Not just casual conversation or polite hellos at the pharmacy. I mean real connection. Someone asking about your week. Someone laughing at your old stories. Someone remembering your name without looking at a chart. The more I handled things on my own, the more people assumed I preferred it that way. And at first, I did. It felt like freedom. No one fussing over me, no need to explain anything. But slowly, I noticed that the phone rang less. Invitations stopped. Holidays got quieter. When people did check in, I'd say, "Don't worry, I'm doing great." But the truth is, I wasn't. I was just functioning. One evening, I was walking back home from the grocery store. It had started drizzling and I didn't bring an umbrella. I passed a group of younger folks helping each other carry bags, laughing under one umbrella. For a moment, I felt like I was watching life from the outside. That was the first time it really hit me. I had built a life that worked, but didn't feel alive. I had mistaken self-sufficiency for fulfillment. And I don't think I'm the only one. Many of us grew up being told not to rely on others, to be strong, to endure quietly. But there's a difference between being strong and being alone. And that's when I realized being healthy is not the same as being whole. It took me years to see it, but when I did, everything changed. Once I saw the truth of my own situation, I started noticing patterns not just in myself, but in others around me. Friends, neighbors, even people I met at the senior center. Many of us were doing well physically. Our charts looked fine. Our doctors were pleased. But emotionally, something was missing, something big. And when I really sat with it, I realized there were 3 silent mistakes many of us make once we start aging well. The first mistake, saying, "I'm fine," when we're not. It's automatic, isn't it? Someone asks how we're doing, and we smile and say, "Doing great." We don't want pity. We don't want to seem weak. But the problem is, when we keep saying we're fine, people start to believe it. They stop checking in. They assume we've got it all figured out. And inside, we might be aching for company. But we've trained everyone not to notice. The second mistake, thinking good habits are enough to keep us fulfilled. Yes, it's good to eat, right, stay active, and sleep well. But I used to fill my days with routines, smoothies, supplements, stretches, and tell myself I was busy. Truth is, I was just avoiding the quiet. It's easy to confuse productivity with purpose. But there's a difference between moving through the day and feeling alive in it. And the third mistake, waiting for others to reach out first. This one took me the longest to admit. I kept expecting my daughters to call more. I hoped my old friends would invite me out. But I never made the first move. Why, pride, maybe, fear of rejection, or just old habits. But the truth is, the phone works both ways, and sometimes people are waiting on us to go first. These aren't loud mistakes. They're quiet, respectable, even admirable on the surface. Independence, discipline, politeness. But left unchecked, they slowly chip away at the connections that make life meaningful. I wish someone had told me sooner that health isn't just what's happening inside your body, it's also what's happening around it. In your conversations, your relationships, your laughter. So, if any of this sounds familiar, I say it with love. It's not too late. You can rewrite your rhythm. You can speak up. You can reach out. Because the best version of aging well is never meant to be lived alone. It took me longer than I'd like to admit. But sometime after my 73rd birthday, I stumbled into the truth that changed everything. Not in a dramatic movie-like moment, not in a hospital bed or after a close call. No, it happened on a perfectly ordinary Sunday. I had just finished making lunch, grilled chicken, steamed broccoli, a sweet potato. The kind of meal I'd proudly tell my doctor about. I sat down, turned on the radio, and reached across the table for the salt, only to realize there was no one on the other side. Again. And I remember thinking, so this is what it feels like to do everything right and still feel empty. That night I wrote something in my notebook. Just one line: health gives you time. But connection gives you a reason to use it. That was the one thing I had missed for so long. I had invested so much in staying alive, but so little in feeling alive. It started small. I called an old friend I hadn't spoken to in years. He picked up surprised but warm. We talked about nothing in particular, but when I hung up, the silence in the room didn't feel as heavy. Then I did something harder. I said yes. To an invitation I'd usually find a reason to avoid. A local book group for seniors. I hadn't read a novel in decades, but I went. And that Thursday afternoon, I sat in a circle with 7 strangers each, with their own scars, their own stories. And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. The most powerful thing I learned wasn't from a doctor or a study. It came from a woman in that group who leaned over to me and whispered, "You know, no one tells you that the hardest part of aging isn't the pain, it's the quiet." Since then, I've made connection part of my health routine, just like walking or eating well. I set reminders to call people. I host simple lunches. I ask more questions. I share more honestly. Not because I'm lonely, but because I don't want to be invisible. So here it is, if I could pass on only one thing from the last decade of my life. It's this: don't wait until the silence gets loud. Start now. Reach out. Let people in. Because being alive isn't the same as feeling alive, and I want you to have both. These days, my routine still includes all the usual things: my morning walks, balanced meals, quiet evenings. But something is different now. The silence no longer feels like a weight. It feels like space I've filled with people, purpose, and moments that matter. Every Tuesday, I meet up with a small group of men at the park. We walk together, talk about everything from the weather to the aches we don't like to admit. It's nothing fancy, no big speeches, just presence. Every Thursday, I show up to the book club, not because of the books, honestly, but because of the people. We laugh, we share stories, we listen, and that alone has done more for my heart than any vitamin I've ever taken. I also started calling my daughters more, not to wait for them, not to test if they remembered me, but just to say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. You'd be surprised what happens when you go first." The walls soften. Conversations stretch longer. They call back sooner. Love doesn't always need fixing. It just needs tending. Even holidays look different now. I used to spend Thanksgiving watching reruns and heating up frozen turkey. Last year, I hosted a potluck with 3 other widowed neighbors. We set the table, shared recipes, told stories from when we were kids. I laughed so hard that day, I actually got a cramp in my side. I don't tell you all this to brag. I'm telling you because I was dangerously close to missing out on all of it. I thought health meant having no problems. But now I understand health means having reasons to wake up excited. It means having someone to share the sunrise with, even if it's just a phone call or a smile from across the room. That one shift, choosing connection, not waiting for it, turned my health plan into a life plan. Not just to survive longer, but to live fuller. If you're over 60 and you've been quietly wondering, is this all there is, please hear this. No, it's not. Not if you don't want it to be. You're not too old, you're not too late. You're just one brave yes away from something better. And I hope you say yes. If there's one thing I've learned in all these years, it's this: staying alive and feeling alive are not the same thing. You can have good numbers, clear scans, a strong heart, and still go to bed feeling like something's missing. What changed everything for me wasn't a miracle cure or a breakthrough treatment. It was choosing to stop waiting. I stopped waiting for the phone to ring. I stopped waiting for invitations. I stopped waiting for people to notice I needed them. And instead, I reached out. I said yes. I showed up. That's something you can do too. And it doesn't have to be big. Call someone you haven't spoken to in a while just to say hello. Invite a neighbor for coffee. Join a community group even if it feels awkward at first. Wave at someone new during your morning walk. These small acts may not seem like much, but they add up. They create connection. They bring warmth back into the everyday. Because in the end, real health isn't just measured in steps. or cholesterol levels. It's felt in conversation, in companionship, in the sound of someone saying your name because they remembered it, not because it's printed on a chart. So let me ask you this. What's one simple thing you could do this week to feel more connected? Share your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this story touched something in you, if it reminded you that you're not alone, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps keep these stories going. And if you'd like to support this work further, feel free to leave a small donation. But most of all, stay well, stay present, and never forget, the best years might still be ahead of you.